I'm really excited about this, and if it works half as good as I think it will, this is going to be an awesome addition to my van setup here, my van electrical. Welcome to StaticCampervan. I'm Scott. I had a little scare with a product that I have been relying on for the last couple of years. It's this Rockpals 300. Now, I have been using this to keep my phone and my iPad charged since I got this. I did a review on this a couple of years ago, and ever since it's been my favorite product that I've ever reviewed. Now, this video is not a product review video. This is really more of a vlog today, but I'm going to show you a product that I bought to kind of replace this. Now, this I thought was broke. It has been reset now and it has been working, but when it wasn't working, I ordered another product to kind of replace it. And this is the product here. It's from a company called Time USB, and this is a little charging device that I can hook up to my battery, my house battery that I have here in my van. And what I liked about this is that it's kind of an all-in-one little charge unit. It has USB-C, which is the most important thing to me because most of my charging I do off of USB-C. I do need regular USB, which just does have, this also has a 12-volt socket, which I am not a big fan of, but I do use it from time to time with a couple of devices that I keep on hand, like my tire pump that I use for my tires on the van is still a 12-volt socket, so that might be useful. We'll see. So I just bought this. Again, this is not a product review. I just bought this with my own money. Bought it on Amazon, and it just showed up yesterday. So I'm going to install it and just see how it works. But I'm pretty excited about this because I think that this would be a really good product for a lot of people, especially if you don't want to invest in a full battery pack, keeping in mind that you're limited to the amount of battery capacity that is in the battery pack. So my idea is somebody could buy any battery at all, install this device, and be able to have all these charging points off of it, and be up and running and have a much bigger battery capacity. So this is going to get installed on my 100 amp hour lithium battery, which is my house battery, and it should give me all the functionality that I've been needing out of the little Rockpals 300, all on this, but using my house battery, which is a little bit easier for me to use because it is being recharged off of my solar panels that I have on top of the van. So we're going to install this and just see how it works. So I'm going to mount this right here next to my bed because it'd make it easiest for me to charge my phone at night, and it's kind of a central location. Plus my battery is down under my bed along this back wall, so it's a good place to put this. They make it really easy to install this. They have a little back plate that slides into the back side of the unit, and so this would get screwed into the wall, and then you just line this up, snap it in place. And this is a cool idea because the wire for it, the cable for it, plugs into the bottom, and that means you can actually move this around. You can just unclip this from the wall or wherever you have it stored and kind of move this around. The cable they give is, I think, 15 feet long, quite a bit of cable there. And to install this is really easy. You've got one wire that goes onto the positive side of your battery. The other wire goes on the negative side of the battery. You plug it in here with one of these Anderson connectors that they have pre-installed, and that's it. You're up and running. I'm really excited about this, and if it works half as good as I think it will, this is going to be an awesome addition to my van setup here, my van electrical. Now, a few months ago, I did install a different type of device that's very similar to the new one here that I'm going to install. This is a charging cable for a motorcycle, and it installs the same way. It just has two wires. One goes to the positive side of the battery, the other goes to the negative side of the battery, just like the new one will. It is a lot simpler. It has a regular USB and a USB-C, and I have not been quite as happy with this as I had hoped. The power on it is a little bit limited. For one, my iPad won't charge off of this device, and two, I don't think it gives real good clean power. Now, this was a really inexpensive option. It was less than $20, I think, and it's given me at least a little bit of a way to charge my phone from time to time, but I've not been real happy with this, so that's another reason why I've been kind of excited about getting this new device and seeing if this is going to give me a little bit better power, a little bit cleaner power, and more power. So the hardest part of this job is just going to be getting to my battery, which is down in the recesses of my van. So I've got a little bit of a mess. Yes, I'm showing you my mess. You know, it's tight, and I do the best I can, but just have to move a few things and get my tools out, of course, and then make those two connections on the battery itself, and that's it. So I'll spare you the ugly details here, just give you a little glimpse of my little mess I've got going on. Okay, I got the battery out from under the bed, and I wasn't going to show you this, but I am going to show you one thing. So just in case you want me to work on your vehicle, this is the type of work that I do. It's ugly. This is not professional stuff. So yeah, maybe this will remind you that I'm not the person to ask for help. Of course, I'm kidding. I would be happy to help you at one point if I could, but I am kidding around a little bit. My work is not professional, in the least. So I just want to show that, to be clear, that I don't really know what I'm doing like a lot of the professional YouTubers out there, but I get by. Now, this is a little ugly looking. My terminals are slightly overloaded, and so that's another reason that's you know, it just shows that I'm not a professional, but it's all safe. There's nothing unsafe here, although I'm sure some people are going to say that this is unsafe and I should do something about it. That's why I don't normally show this stuff. Okay, that took about 2 minutes. It took longer to get the battery out from under the bed here than it did to do anything else. I think I'm all good to go. I do have to check my connections, but I did want to just point out that this battery that I am using is a Chin's battery made by a company called Chin's. It's been fantastic. My old battery was an AGM battery, so a sealed lead acid battery, and it was considerably bigger than this, both in its size and in its weight. Even though this is a 100 amp hour battery, because this is lithium, they equal about the same amount of power between the two. So that old battery was, I think, 138 pounds, and this one is, I think, 24 or 25 pounds. Huge difference. This has been a fantastic battery for me, and it was less than $320 for this. And that was why I bought it. I was looking at getting another AGM battery, but for a comparable battery, the AGMs were going to cost me more than switching to lithium. So I was happy the price finally came down on the lithiums, and it made it a good time to buy this. I actually went to the warehouse in LA to buy this, so I got a little bit of a better deal. Although I think the prices fluctuate on these batteries all the time, and I think the price is still about the same at this point on these, right around $300 to $320 for these. I've been really happy with it, even though it's not a big, huge name brand of battery. It's been really good for me, and definitely better than the old AGMs that I used to use. Okay, we're installed. If I seem a little tired and sweaty, it's because it's warming up here in Seattle. We've had some stunners of days here lately. It's just been fantastic, but the weather has turned. I think it's now summertime here. Today's only 80 or so, but I think it's supposed to keep heating up as the week progresses, which is not good for me. I don't like the warm. Anyway, I'm drinking some water, trying to cool down. I spent quite a bit of time rearranging stuff under my bed, so I'm a little extra tired and a little extra sweaty and stinky. But all installed, and it's working really well. Let's go over some positives and negatives. So I've got the unit mounted here because it's in the most accessible location for me, and I would have liked it mounted up a little bit higher, but because the way they have the mount set up here, you've got to allow room up on top of it to drop it on and in place. So a slight negative there, but nothing bad. It's certainly not in the way at all. I did have to reposition a couple things over here. I've got a magnet that I use for my phone at night. I put my phone here, and then I did have to move my mag light here just down and out of the way just because of the placement of this. So again, just a slight negative. The other slight negative is it has a screen here which stays on all the time. So I'm going to have to put a piece of tape over this because it's going to light up the van here and shine directly at me as I'm sleeping. My head would be over here on this side. So yeah, so that's not a great thing. I wish they had a way to turn the screen off or maybe even dim it. So slight negative there. Other than that, I don't see any other negatives. There's a whole lot of positives. There is an on-off switch, so you can turn the whole thing on or off as you need it. So if you're not going to use it, you can turn it off. I imagine it will draw a tiny bit of power when it's turned on. That is what USB does. If it's got power going to it, it will draw just a tiny bit of power. So I like the fact that you can just turn it off and make sure you don't have any parasitic draw on it. Huge positive there. Another huge positive is this DC port. They put one of these fancy ports where it has a little locking mechanism on it. So if you were going to use this, say, with a 12-volt fridge, you could pop it in there and give it a quarter turn, and it kind of locks it in place so it doesn't rattle loose. That's a nice feature, I think, although it doesn't apply to me because I run my fridge off a direct line to my battery, straight to my battery. So huge positive for somebody else, maybe not quite so much for me. But as far as the ports go, I really like the fact that I've got two USB-C ports now, which on my Rock Pals that I was using for charging my devices, I would have to charge one and then wait and have to charge the other once one was fully charged. So I like that it's got two. Now I don't have to wait for charging things. I can charge my phone and my iPad at the same time. That covers it for me. And of course, every once in a while I do need to use a regular USB port, so I've got those. And then I'm not a big fan of these barrel plugs, but it does have those, and those could be handy for running lights, or really anything that's low consumption of power. So LED lights are perfect for running off of these, and I might actually utilize these coming up because I'm a little disappointed with my lighting system. I've got some lights that I run off a USB, and I'm just not real happy with them. So I may actually use these just in the future. So I'm really happy with this. Now the other thing is the power, and I did plug my phone in, which I'm using to record right now. It charges just fine. But the big question was my iPad, and I did just recently upgrade to a larger 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which is really power hungry. And I'm happy to report that this charges just fine off of it. I can plug it in here and power this up, and you can see we've got green there. So I let it sit and charge for a little while just to see if it was going to take a charge, and it works just fine off of it. So this is the big reason that I bought this, was so that I could charge my iPad, which was a problem for a few days. Now I don't have a problem, and I can actually charge my phone at the same time, like I was saying before. So this is a huge improvement for me. And you think about this, if you were reluctant to buy a portable battery supply in the past because you weren't quite sure what size battery you might need, think about this. You can buy any battery out there. Say you found a deal like I did on that Chins battery that I have, 100 amp hour battery. You hook this up to it. This gives you all the charging that you might need. Now, obviously, you're losing the ability with most of the battery packs. Versus this, you're going to be losing the ability to have an inverter. But more and more nowadays, everything's moving to USB-C. In fact, most of everything that I charge is USB-C nowadays. So this would actually cut down on most of my power system here. I really don't need a whole lot of other power systems here if I had this. So pretty cool. If I ever needed to rebuild my system in the future, I would build it around this and just have a few extra ports here and there. So I'm real happy with this. I am really pleased at how well it's working and just the features it has. Now it is $110, so the price may be a bit off-putting to some people, but I was willing to go this route because the last device that I tried, that motorcycle charger that I was showing you earlier, was not good clean power and just couldn't handle all the things that I needed it to do. So much happier with this, and I'm okay with the price. I have thought about making something like this myself. I don't know why more companies don't try to produce something like this, but making something like this is maybe a little bit more difficult than you would think. You can get USB outlets like this one you see here that's running a light here behind me, or to the side of me, maybe. You know, these things can be bought, and there's a ton of them out there. You can get them in all sorts of different configurations. They have them in USB-C ports as well. But I've bought 4 of these in the past, and including this one, most of them have been junk. I have another one that's made by a company called Blue Sea Systems, and that one is decent. But every other one is just not good. In fact, I don't like to charge my phone off of this one. I just don't trust it. It's great for lights like I'm using right now, but just do not trust it for anything sensitive. And so that's been the reason why I haven't tried to put a box like this together myself, just finding the ports that are decent quality. This one had a 4.9 star rating on Amazon when I bought it, and it's garbage. So that's why I haven't tried to make my own box like this. And it's another reason why I was okay with paying the $110 for this. I think it's well worth it. We'll see how it holds up over time, but as far as I'm concerned, this is going to be a fantastic addition. One thing I forgot to mention is they actually include a second Anderson connector, same one that goes down here, so there's another port down here to use, and it's in or out. I don't quite understand how that works, but it's there so you can use it for another device if you need something, a high drain device that you need for this. So I think this is a really good product, and we'll see how it works. If it doesn't end up working, I'll make another video and talk about it, but so far I'm real happy with it, and I think it really solves my issue that I've had. I've had this issue for several years now of just having good, clean, reliable power, so I'm happy with it. And again, this is not a product endorsement. Nobody's paying me to say this. I bought this with my own money. I have not put it on my Amazon list because Amazon doesn't pay me anything when people go and buy stuff off of my Amazon list, but if you want me to do that, I'll put it on there. So that's about all I have to say. I am really quite sweaty, stinky, and tired. I need to get some food, and I really need some coffee. I'm looking at my empty coffee mug here. I've had 1 cup today. I don't think I'm going to make any right now because it's still pretty warm and getting warmer as the day goes on, so maybe I'll just make some food. But with that, oh, and I'm going to drink some water too. Don't forget about the water. But with that, I'll say I'm going to end this here, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.